To analyze competitive developments such as expansions, agreements, new product launches and acquisitions in the market. To strategically profile the key players and comprehensively analyze their growth strategies. For more information, contact us at or call us on +1 760 514 0135. MeToo inspired stories have been making women villains as well as victims. 1 week after the first Harvey Weinstein expose lit a match to a movement waiting to catch fire, great news, the Tina Fey-produced NBC sitcom, featured a storyline in which Fey's network president sexually harasses her employees. In an episode that
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.